Hey everyone, and how are you guys doing today? I hope you are having a wonderful, happy, and bright day today. I hope your day at work was good today. I hope you've gotten your shopping done. I hope you're getting things ready for the holidays. Happy holidays to you, by the way. And just like to remind you, you guys are special, you're fabulous, and you're gorgeous. And with that said, grab yourself a little cup of something, a little glass of wine, a cup of coffee, whatever it's going to be, because today, guys, we're going on a little Chanel journey in the past. So this is a tag with Miss Allison Chase, and she's so wonderful. She tagged me on it because she thought that I would be a great candidate for this particular tag because I've been in the industry for so long. If you guys are new to my channel, it's been about 25, 26 years. I have been in the industry since like 18, 19 years old. So I've seen Chanel go through many a journey with packaging, products, color stories, you name it, I've seen it. And I've had quite a few of those and quite a few favorites. There's about 20 if I'm not mistaken. So if you guys want to come down a little road with me, a little journey back in the past, look at some beautiful color stories, some beautiful things, I found some great pictures and everything for you guys, then stick around and let's go on this journey together. Okay guys, we are ready to dive in. We are ready to just dive right into this. I'm all excited before we even get started. We're ready to dive into this beautiful Chanel journey together. And before we do that, can we just take a moment for this lipstick, okay? This is the Too Faced Crazy For You lipstick. They came out with them in spring, and I just love this color. This color is just everything to me. I just love this really beautiful, bright pink. It's got a little hint of fuchsia to it, a little red. It's got a little bit of everything in it. I absolutely love it. So anyway, we just had to take a moment for the lipstick. Okay, so now we are ready to jump into some Chanel. So we're going to start off with my number one. I think I have about 20 of these. So I'm going to try my best to go through them as quickly as I can. But we'll see how it kind of goes. As you know, as I get chatty, so just throwing it out there. So anyway, so the first thing that I miss in Chanel is the ads. And when I say that, because Chanel has always had they've always had the most beautiful ads. They still have beautiful ads, but not like they used to be in the 90s and the late 80s. The ads used to be just breathtaking. And I'm actually going to put images up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But there is one, and it's a Coco Chanel ad, and it's just absolutely stunning. And this is what Chanel represents me. This is Chanel right here. This is classic, beautiful Chanel to me. This is what Chanel is. And I just wish sometimes they had those ads. I really do miss those. I miss those ads. I miss when they would do it with every color story and they would do it with everything that they came out with. It was just absolutely, it was just breathtaking, and it would always make you want it even more just looking at the ads because they were always so beautiful. I'm sorry, I've got notes, so I'm going to be looking down at my notes because I've got so many and I can't remember, so I'm just trying to keep up with all the pictures and everything. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit about the old blushes. So Chanel in like the late 80s and early 90s, they had the blushes and they would come in the Chanel compact, but they were like in a little triangle, in a rectangular type triangle. And they were so pigmented and so beautiful. And they had the most beautiful, stunning colors. And they had like not as many muted shades. They actually had shade that you could get muted or brighter. And they were just in the really cool compacts. And I just really missed that. And I just thought they were really great. And the pigment in those were just so good. The next thing that I really miss in Chanel is the Tante Lumiere cream makeup that was in a jar. So the Chanel packaging used to come in these old jars. The jars were they were very heavy glass, and they had really big writing on it, and it had the Chanel on it. Again, I'll have the image up here so you guys can see it. But this particular makeup was so beautiful. It gives such a beautiful coverage, but it had a beautiful luminosity, and it was actually a really full coverage makeup, but it was gorgeous on the skin, made your skin look so beautiful. It was exquisite. A little bit of it went a long way. I think it kind of went all into sublimage eventually, but it was just a beautiful makeup, and I was just so sad to see that one go, but it was a really nice makeup. Reflecting Luminous Loose Powder. No, I'm sorry, Lumiere Loose Powder. So this particular powder, it was matte, but it had like this glow to it. So it just had like a radiance from within, kind of a little bit like the Absolute powder by Lancome. It was just really beautiful, really stunning, and I used to love the way that it smelled. It was something about it that smelled so good, and it smelled so exquisite. And of course, it was in this beautiful, exquisite packaging. It was just absolutely exceptional. So next I want to talk about a color story. So this particular color story was in 2008, and it was a summer palette. And the color story was really beautiful, but it was the palette itself that I really fell in love with. It had a yellow, a coral, a pink, and it also had a brown in it. So it was really cool because you had like these little pops of color, but then you had the brown, and the colors looked really bright and stuff. But you know, Chanel is it's not very extremely pigmented. It's just this hits of sophistication in a palette. It was just really a beautiful little color story. And you don't see that in Chanel anymore. They don't do the really fun stuff anymore. It's like, and sometimes people, they shy away from those, but really they get scared of them, I think. But really they're not, because they're so sheer. They were just so beautiful in my eye, and it sold out. Everything sold out. Like all of this stuff, especially the collections, they would sell out so fast, guys. I can't even tell you. They sell it faster than they did now, because the stores would only get so much, and then it wasn't social media. You only saw it in magazines, and that was it. So ads meant a lot then at that moment, and word of mouth a minute, and the magazine talking about it meant a lot as well. So next up is spring 2005, and it was a pink collection, and it was all pink. And it had this really beautiful highlighter in it. There was this really beautiful pink gloss and this beautiful pink highlighter. And the gloss and the highlighter and there was an eyeshadow palette that went with it, but it was mainly the highlighter and the lip gloss. The lip gloss and the highlighter were the main points of the color story. Oh my God, it sold out so quickly, because those highlighter palettes, they've been going back a long, long time. It started more than just I think before we started doing it, the highlighters really started coming in style. Glow powders were a big deal in the late 2000s, late 1999 or so, or something like that. The glow powders were really in, but this was just a really beautiful collection too. Next up, I want to talk about my most favorite thing. Instead of waiting until last to tell you guys my favorite thing, I want to talk about it now and how much I really, really enjoyed it. They were these little, it was called because I always forget the full name of it, but it was called the Chanel Le Verse Reflex Le Brilliance compacts. So they were these really beautiful compacts that would come in with gloss in them, and you could use the gloss for eyes, face, or cheeks, or lips. And they're different than they were now, because they were in a little rectangular. They had a little rectangular, and they would fit in a pan, and one side would be one way and one side would be the other. But this particular one had 4 in it. So it had a gold, it had a silver, it had a pink, and it had a coral, like a peachy color. These lip glosses were so beautiful, and they would change the color of your lipsticks. If you wanted to add a little bit of the silver, it would give a little coolness. If you want to add a little bit of the coral, it would give a little peachiness. If you want to add a little bit of pink, it would give a little bit of baby pink. And if you add a little bit of the gold, it would give a little bit of warmth. Oh my God, they were so creamy, so beautiful, so wet, and they felt really good on the lip. They were very hydrating, and they'll come in a compact with a little brush, but you could use your finger if you wanted to. They were just so cute and so cool, and I really do miss those, and I wish they would bring that back, but that was my favorite one. I went through 2 of those, because I had 2 of those, and I don't have it anymore. It's just the lousy pictures is all I got. I don't have it anymore, but it is so great. But I mean, I did find it on eBay. I just, it is a little bit more of an older product, and I do collect older products, by the way. So I do collect, so I did find it, but it just really brings back a lot of nostalgia, and I really did love that. That was my favorite product of all. While we're kind of talking about that, let's talk about the lip compacts. So Chanel would do they had a few of these lip compacts. So the lip compact would have a lipstick in it, and it would have a gloss in the inside of it. And sometimes they would have like 2 or 3 lipsticks in it, and it would have a gloss to go with it. So there would be like a red collection, there'd be like a berry collection, there'd be like a pink collection, there'd be a brown one. So each one of them had their own compact, and you could dip the brush in it and put it on with your lip, or you could pat it on with your finger and do it with a gloss. I know a lot of people don't like using their finger, or they don't like the little brushes, or like using a compact. That's probably why they went away, but they were just exquisite. They were just so good. They were so creamy. They went on the lips so beautifully, but they give you like a little bit of a sheerness instead of, you could do a sheerness or you could do a full coverage lipstick, and the gloss was just really beautiful. I just really miss those compacts, and I really wish sometime that they would just kind of bring them back. Okay, so moving on to another one of my favorites that I really miss in Chanel, and they still have the nail polish, but it is Vamp lipstick. Vamp lipstick was just, I remember when it came out, it was just like the most amazing thing ever. It was just so cool. Everybody wanted it. It sold out so many times. Chanel finally did add it to the collection, and then I don't know why they got rid of it, but then they ended up getting, kind of dismissing it and kind of discontinuing it. And, I think they maybe brought it about maybe once or twice, but they still have the nail polish still around. But, and it is a beautiful nail polish too. But that collection, I remember when it was such the rage, and I think it was like 96 or 97 when it came out, maybe by 95, but it was like such a huge rage, such a beautiful, exquisite color. It was this beautiful, rich berry with the plum, with brown in it. It was just really gorgeous, and Chanel needs to bring that one back. That one needs to come back for sure, because that was just an exquisite, classic color, and I can't believe that they don't keep it just because it's a classic, because it's such an amazing color. You guys will have to let me know, do you remember the Vamp trend? Do you remember when it was all about the Vamp stuff? Because that was just such the thing. It and the nail polish were the it at one point in time. Now we are up to the summer of 2014, and they were these really beautiful pops of bright 80s colors. So the whole summer collection was like this neon kind of looking, so the neon pink lip gloss, the neon orange lip gloss, the neon, there was a fuchsia, there was all these really cool neon looking colors, but they went on really, really sheer. They weren't like extremely pigmented. They just give you like a hint of the color, but it looked really crazy in the actual lip glosses. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the lip glosses were Glossomers, but I'm not mistaken, which we will talk about in a minute. But these lip glosses were just so beautiful, and the collection was gorgeous. It was just all these beautiful pops, and it just made you happy. Looking at the collection immediately made you happy. You wanted spring to come. You could feel the sun on your face. You could feel the sun tanning, smell the sun tanning lotion. I mean, it was just like a very bronzy, just beautiful, fun color collection. And I just hate it that Chanel doesn't do that anymore. They play it so safe all the time now. I'm kind of like, why don't you guys do something fun again? Because that's what Chanel was. It was fun and trendy, but yet classy. So that's what I miss about it. But it was such a beautiful color collection, and I wish they would do something like that in a future summer collection soon. So Chanel had these two moisturizers, and it was kind of like a duo. You could do it by itself, but you didn't. So there was a moisturizer. There was one, the name of the moisturizer at night, it was like a cream parfait, and the other one was called Formula Intense Duo. Both of these had alpha hydroxys in it. The one during the day was a little bit more of a lotion, and it came in a glass bottle, like a lotion bottle, and then the other one came in an actual jar, and you were supposed to use them as a duo to help to even out skin tone, texture, dullness. If you had a lot of like uneven skin tone, texture, all that good stuff. It helped you with lines and wrinkles. It was moisturizing. It had everything in it, but it had alpha hydroxys in it, which at the time was a big deal. Once upon a time, the alpha hydroxys was a big, huge rage. But this duo was so beautiful. I loved the lotion and the cream. They were so good, and it really did make a difference in your skin, and it did help with texture. I just hate that they got rid of it, which, I mean, it's skincare and they advance and they move on, but it was just such a great duo combination, and I really do miss that. When I saw the picture of it, I was like, oh my God, I remember that. That was so good. I forgot that was a really good moisturizer that I really, really enjoyed. So that was one of the skincare products that I loved. And so that goes into our next one, and that is to talk about the old skincare packaging. So Chanel's skincare packaging used to come in the, I have to set my notes down because I know I'll use my hands a lot. Let me set my notes down. So Chanel's packaging would come in these great big jars, bottles, and they would have these big print on it. So it was like, especially if you couldn't see, if you had a hard time seeing, you could see it because it would say like toner, and it would say like Chanel, it would have like the cream, and it would have like the big words on it, and it was just so elegant and so classy, and the bottles were so heavy and so cool. It was very classic Chanel. And then they had the serums and the eye creams would come in this really cool, it was like a square rectangular, and it was a bottle, and you would pump the top of it, and it would come out the top of it, and it would be like the eye serums and the face serums and stuff would come in these really beautiful, tall, heavy serum bottles. Oh my God, it was just so great. I just miss the Chanel packaging because it used to be, it's not that it's not elegant now, it is, and I understand, because recycling and all that good stuff or whatever, but it was just the packaging in Chanel is what made it so special, was that heavy, weighted, beautiful. It was just something about it. I mean, you could just see it sitting on your vanity. It was just something about it that made it really bougie and made you want it even more, made you just feel really rich having it. It was just really exquisite, and I just really, really miss that. So next up I want to talk about is the old self-tanner, the bronze I think it's automatique is what it used to be. It had an SPF 8 in it, and it came in this black bottle, and it had like a little sun on it, and it had like these little ridges in it. Oh my God, it was like the best self-tanner. It was so good. It was really great. Now, at this time, you have to remember, I think this was like, we're talking about mid 90s, like maybe 93, 94, whatever, because self-tanner was big. It was a big deal. Estee Lauder had Super Tan, Clinique had one, Lancome had the Soleil, there was all these brands had all these wonderful self-tanners and everything. So I've just got to say, this self-tanner was so good. It went on, it sprayed on, they had it in a spray and they had it in a cream. This particular one that I'm showing you guys in the picture is the cream, but it had a beautiful smell to it. And even though when the dry down was, because we all know that self-tanner smell, I mean, it was definite in the 90s. You could definitely smell it, especially after it's set on the skin, regardless of how pretty they try to make it. But it gave you the most beautiful color. So when you would put it on, you would have the most beautiful undertone in the skin. So at the time, Estee Lauder Super Tan was probably it, and the Chanel's were the two that I loved the most. Now the Chanel's, of course, was very expensive. I think at the time, I think it was like $50, I think, for the self-tanner, but it was just such a good product. It was so good. And I don't know why they got rid of, they had a whole body line. They had a whole sculpting line. It was for the, for cellulite. They had a body wash and had a body cream and just a basic body luxury line, not part of the actual perfume. But I just missed those. And then they had sun, and then the sunscreens and all of those. They had like a bunch of different sunscreens, and they had a sun stick. It was just a really great time, but it was just a really beautiful self-tanner. We are on to, so now we're going to talk about the collection. It's the Floors palette that was a 2011. The thing that was really cool about it was the palette, actually, the collection was really cute because it was a little bit more, it was like a spring story, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a spring story, but it had like a brick. It was like a brick, and it had like these different, it was like a line after line in the colors, but the colors in it were really beautiful, and they were extremely pigmented, and they just went on really pretty, and the undertones in it were really gorgeous, and that was a beautiful color story. It wasn't my favorite, but it was a really good one, and I do remember really enjoying that one, and I hate that one's not around anymore. And then next I wanted to talk about Holiday 2007. Now this collection, guys, was gorgeous. It was all pink. And usually during the holiday, it's gold, it's red, it's silver, it's all this other stuff. This particular collection was pink. So the highlighter was pink, the lip glosses were pink, the lipsticks were pink, the shadows were insane. They were so beautiful. There were like these, it was a fuchsia pink, there was like a deep, a brown pink, and then there was like a light pink, and then there was a shimmery pink. And it was in a beautiful, of course, a beautiful palette, and it was the endorsement in the actual palette, the engraving in the actual colors. Oh, they were just so beautiful. And again, I'll have that picture up here so you guys can see it. It was just so pretty. pretty. That was a beautiful color story. And I wish that they would do something like that during the holiday, because you just don't see stuff like that in a holiday. Usually it goes by a theme. And I mean, I wish they would kind of step out of their box and say, oh, you know what? Instead of doing what everybody else is going to do, let's do something total opposite. That was just a beautiful color story. So I wish that they would take that idea and kind of work with it again sometime. Now I am down to, there's a couple more left and then we'll be almost done. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, so Cristal is a fragrance that Chanel has. And let me talk about that first. So we'll talk about it. So I'm going to put up the image here. So this ad for this fragrance, I remember when this fragrance came out. And it smells so freaking good. It's such a beautiful fragrance. Now, Chanel still has the fragrance. It is still available. However, it is not the same. It's just so different. It's not like it used to be. And I don't know if it's just in an EDT now. It may be still in the perfume, but I'm not really sure. But it was just the ad. The ad was just so gorgeous. And I remember when it came out, it was so awesome. But with that said, you know, backtracking myself. So they came out with the lip gloss to go with the collection. And the lip gloss that was called Vanilla Dream is what it was called. And it was like the perfect nude lip gloss. It was so beautiful. It had like little sparkles in it, but it was just really beautiful. It smelled like vanilla. It was exquisite. It was just such a beautiful gloss. And I just hated it because they just kind of launched it with the collection. And it was so beautiful. And they sold out of it. And I think they brought it back maybe once or twice. And then they decided not to keep it. But it was just so gorgeous. And I really missed that lip gloss in particular. That was really great. And talking about lip glosses, I'm going to talk about my favorite lip glosses in Chanel that they've ever had, and that was the Glossomers. And there were three particular colors that I really loved, and that was Astral, and that was Volage, and it was Palette as was the favorites. So one was like a fuchsia, one was like a blue pink color. It's almost like the Pat McGrath Blue Moonflower. It's almost like that one. And then Volage was like a little bit more of a soft, it was like more of a nude color. Oh my God, these lip glosses, guys. If you guys remember Glossomer lip glosses, can you please raise your hand? Because let me tell you, the Glossomer lip glosses were fantastic. They were the best formula of lip gloss that Chanel had ever came out with. They felt good. They looked amazing. They were very sheer. They looked like they would be really loud. Like the colors looked loud and really bright. But when you would put them on, they just would melt into your lips. They felt so good on the lips. And yet they just give you like this little hint of color. They were just so beautiful. Chanel, please bring them back because they were so pretty and they were so gorgeous. And I don't know why they ever changed them and changed the name and everything. I mean, it was just so gorgeous. I wish they would have just kept adding on to that and just kept the name and just kept going with that. So I don't know why it didn't happen, but anyway, it was a great time to be in lip gloss, let me tell you, because I love that lip gloss. That was one of my favorite lip glosses of all time, and I just hate that they discontinued other ones. And then I actually have one of the products with me to show you on my last one. So the next collection I'm going to talk about was 2010, and this was a really beautiful, it was like a bright pink with had like a baby blue polish. So the collection was like more pink, but then the polish was a baby blue. And then it had like little, like there was a nude pink, and then there was like a brighter pink nail polish and so forth. And then there was eyeshadow, and then there was like a you know, more of a nuder pink lipstick, and then there was like a brighter pink lipstick. It was just a really beautiful collection, but that nail polish was so beautiful. I don't remember the name of the nail polish. I have a picture of it, but I don't remember the name of it. I just know that it was a pretty baby blue, and I know that they sold out of it really quickly, and it was really awesome. And I don't know, and I had it, but I ended up like not keeping it because at the time I didn't paint my nails like I do now, but I did have it. So nail polishes at that time I would just lust after. I never really bought them, but I just really enjoyed having them or seeing them and looking at them. And now I just really wish I had some of those colors. Of course, I don't know how long they would last, but anyway, I just really missed that color. That was a really beautiful color. And then there was another color collection, and I don't remember the year. If one of you guys remember, you can let me know down below. But this particular one had an emerald green in it. There was a pink in it. There was an aqua in it, or like a aquamarine color. And then there was a deep, rich brown, and it was in a compact, and it was just such a beautiful conception of like aqua, and then you had like the brown, and then you had a little bit of the pink. And then you have this really deep earth green. I think it was a summer collection, if I'm not mistaken. But I did find a picture of it, but I just couldn't find the name of the compact or whatever. But it was just absolutely stunning. And that was a very unique summer collection too. So if you see my drift, you know, you've seen these color collections, you see that they just were so creative with them back then, especially with the ads and the way that they would do it and seduce you with it. It was just so awesome. Now we are at the end of my little tag. And so this is the last thing in Chanel that I actually do have that I do wish that they would have kept, or they would have continued with this particular story and they would have added onto it and made different kinds of blushes or what have you, because this is the Fleur Printemps. It's the Duo blush. It came out not this past spring, but it was 2021 spring, and it's this one here. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And it sold out so many times. Chanel tried, I think it was 3 times. They came out with it, then it sold out. Then they came back with it again, and then it sold out. And then they came back with it one more time, and then it sold out. This, it's just so beautiful. A beautiful highlighter beside of it, and then it gives you a beautiful blush. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? Those are so beautiful. It's like this peachy with a little bit of like red, with a little hint of coral, with a little hint of pink. And it's just stunning, just absolutely stunning. And this palette now was like, it's going on 2 years old now. It's going on 2 years old. Of January, it'll be 2 years old. Absolutely love this. Why Chanel didn't go with this idea and keep this blush and continue in more families in this kind of a style with the highlighter and the blush together. I guess they realized that they could charge for the highlighter and the blush separate. But it's just, to me, this was such a genius idea that they should have kept this together. The formula was immaculate. The highlighter is gorgeous. It looks beautiful. When you blend them together, it gives you the perfect blend. I just don't know why. Why, Chanel? Why? Why? Just tell me why. Please tell me why. Anyway, this is just so amazing, and I really love it. This is cherishable to me. I can't ever imagine getting rid of it. I mean, even if it gets really, really old and whatever, I just love it. And every once in a while, I'll pull it out and I'll use it. But I just love this. And I'm hoping that Chanel, one of these days, they will do something like this again. Because I know that this last spring, they had blushes, and they did really good. The Brun Rossi, and there was a peach one. And I mean, but the eyeshadow, the Mediterranean was what it was all about. Well, this previous year, it was about the blush. So I'm kind of hoping that eventually they will come out and do something like that again in the future. That is it, guys, for my tag. Please let me know down below, what were your Chanel favorites? Did you have anything that was discontinued that you absolutely loved? Even if it's not Chanel, you can kind of mention down below that you absolutely loved. What did you miss about that? Did you like this video? Do you like these kind of videos? You know, you have to let me know. I mean, I know I can go on and on and on, and I just love talking about the past and all that kind of good stuff. So you just have to let me know. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you loved it, or if you liked it. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you're new. If you didn't like the video, then I'm sorry, I can't help you, but you know, but I appreciate you being here anyway. And you know, with that said, guys, please be safe, be strong, be proud, stand tall, love yourself. Remember to tell somebody that you love them today, and also remember to be kind to someone today, because a little kindness can go off a long way. And also, you know, have a little joy in your life, have a good laugh today, you know, enjoy some of your life, because like I said earlier, you know, or maybe I didn't say it, but life is way too short to make sure you celebrate it every day. And thank you to Miss Allison Chase for tagging me on this one. And if I have any people out there, or any of my other YouTuber friends, or any of my other creators that would love to join this tag, we would love to have you on board with us. So anyway, I will leave Allison's video down below so you can watch her video as well. So anyway, please take care, guys, and we will see you again next time. Bye. Mwah.